Okay, I'm going to say shalom to everyone. I'm going to come at you all with a video or live feed in regards to this particular scripture, Isaiah 19, verse 25. Before you was so long, I just want to, kind of clear up some grammatical errors that people were making, and it leads to poor interpretation. Like I said, I'm not a know-it-all, but sometimes when you read certain scriptures with the King James Version Bible with the English, sometimes it can be confusing. Some people believe that this scripture, especially when you talk to people in the circles of the Pan African, those circles there, they believe that this scripture, the Egyptians are the Most High's people. So what I'm going to do is explain to you that's not what the scripture is saying, because I've seen a old debate information, and I'm like, well, let me go to the scripture to make sure it says that thing like that at all. So I'm going to try to break that down to make sure it's clear understanding. And of course, you just can't use one scripture, because that's what they like to do. They try to go into the scripture. If God only chose a nation, why is he talking about these Egyptian people? It was stem from. And I was looking at a debate, and Brother Hashar from exactly the name of the church is, did a pretty good job in regards to this information. I'm gonna show and you know understanding. Okay, when you go into the Hebrew understanding of the word Egypt first, you got to realize that the word Egypt means some definitions, and I'm going to go into the scripture pertaining to this definition, this actual Isaiah 19 verse 25. Egypt in Hebrew, the definition pertaining to this particular verse is Hebrew number 1657, which is Goshen. It was a place where the children of Israel, when they were in Egypt, there were certain plagues, and we migrated into the land of Egypt, of course, but in that particular land of Egypt, there's a place where we dwelt where was called Goshen, where we resided, and it was a blessed place that the Most High restored for us in the time of trouble. And I'm going to go through a few scriptures on that. So I'm going to lead up to 5, but we got to realize that you have to understand there's precepts in regards to, you know, Isaiah 19 verse 25. I'm going to read it in a few minutes, though. All right. Let's go to let's go to the 45. All right. Just going to show some excerpts of well, actually precepts, so we get a clear understanding. All right. Genesis 45 and 10, and it says, "And thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, children and thy children's children, and thy flocks and thy herds, and all that thou hast." Just uh, a prophetic scripture in regards to what will happen to the children of Israel. Going to um, the story of Joseph. Okay, the 9 verses 1 through 4, to how his brothers sold him into slavery to the Egyptians, and based on that, and let me just go to the scripture real quick. All right, this is not going to be a long, because basically this is just the understanding of how you're supposed to Isaiah 19 verse 25. Can't just read one scripture to understand what's going on. Did hard bondage in Egypt, and eventually when Joseph, which you call the number one general, he was second from the Pharaoh. Well, we had we were high in Egypt. We had what you would call in Egypt, and Ramesses II didn't like the fact that we became a great nation in Egypt, so he tried to take us down. So eventually we started doing hard bondage. So when you read in Exodus chapter 9, it goes into that information. All right, so let's go to Exodus chapter 9, and I'm going to read verses 1 through 4. Then I'm going to jump to go to verse 26, so we can, this will come upon Egypt based on our. All right, so let's go to verse 1. Exodus chapter 9, verses 1 through 4. And Moses, go into and tell him, thus saith the Most High God, the Hebrews, let my people go with me. For if thou refuse to let them go, and will hold them still, the Lord is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, sheep. There shall be a very grievous murrain, and the Lord shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt. And there shall nothing die of all that is in the children of Israel. So this is one of the curses that will come upon, in verse 4, nothing will come upon us. And I'm going to show you. And this says, and there shall nothing die of all that is the children's. You see that? Now watch. Let's go to verse 26. Verse 26. Exodus chapter 9, verse 26. How there was a special place in Egypt. Exodus 9 and 26. Only, matter of fact, let's read verse 25. I'm just so we can get more understanding. And the hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt, all that was in the field, both man and beast. This is one of the that came upon the Egyptians and the land. And the hail smote every herb of the field and brake every tree of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, which is still in Egypt, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail. Pharaoh sent and called for Moses and Aaron and said unto them, I have sinned this time. The Lord is righteous, and I and my people are wicked. There you go. Eventually, when you read through, the Pharaoh, right? So how does this link to Isaiah 19, verse 25? You got to understand that we became a nation, but we're not Egyptians. Just like we became a nation, you would say, in Africa, but we're not Africans. It's the same thing that they're doing. They're trying to spin off in vocabulary through scripture as they do in this new English that we're reading. To look into it, and some of our people interpret this and come against the Bible. That's why I don't debate, because for one, it's futile. Something that it's a waste of time for me to debate anybody, because for one, to be honest, so it's just a waste of energy. Stomping on water to try to find ground to step upon. You feel me? So let me just go ahead and finish. Go to Isaiah. Right? Isaiah 19 and 25. I'm going to read the particular scripture, and I'm just going to let it marinate first, and I'm going to explain it to you. The thing is, in Isaiah 19:25, it says, the Egyptians are the most highest people. You can say that nowhere at all. So I don't know what the hang up is. 25. And it says, whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hand, and Israel and Israel my inheritance. So now let me just show you something. Is the Egyptians the Most High people, or Israel his inheritance is his people? First of all, where did you see in that particular verse Egyptian? Because an Egyptian is the people. Egypt is the place. So is the Most High inheriting the land? Wherever Israel go, the Most High will inherit the land based on our residence, based on us being there. Host shall bless, saying. So the Most High is going to bless something. Blessed be Egypt, Goshen, my people. That's where we were. That's where, when you go into the Hebrew number, 1657, Goshen, the residence of the Israelites. Okay, that's what the scripture is taught. It's saying. Reason why I know it's not saying anything else. This is how you understand. All right, let's go some verses up. Isaiah 19 verse 21. And the Lord shall be known to Egypt, and the Egyptians be known to Egypt, which means you got to go. The Most High is going to go to the land. He's going to bring the spirit to the land, and the Egyptians shall know the Most High in that day. They're going to know the Most High. The other nations are included, but they are not the Most High's people. And shall do sacrifice and oblation. Yea, they shall vow a vow unto the Most High and perform it. Smite Egypt, and shall smite and heal it. He's going to smite Egypt, and he's going to heal it at the same time. Turn even to the Most High, and he shall be entreated of them, and shall heal them. There will be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria. So it's talking about our people doing hard bondage eventually pertaining to that land. But when you go to verse 21, I'm going to go back and so it can be clear. Be known to Egypt, because our people were in Egypt. That's why the Most High is going to be known to Egypt. And the Egyptians shall know the Lord. You see, now it's talking about the people of Egypt. Their time shall know the Most High in that day, and shall do sacrifice and oblation. Now, if some of you don't know what that means, let's just make sure I'm going to do it like this is school time, right? Oblation. Present it or offer it to the Most High. The Egyptians that sojourn with Israel will follow the law, statutes, and commandments. And I was going to go into a video on this. I could have probably correlated all this together. Let's follow Israel in the Old Testament. Yes. With us. So you can't just dog them out and say they're going to be slaves. Of course, they're going to be servants to the Most High through his people. You want to have order in regard to this. You have to be a civilized nation. I'm going to read verse 21 again. And the Most High shall be known to Egypt. And the Egyptians shall know the Most High in that day. Sacrifice and oblation. Yea, they shall vow a vow unto the Lord and perform it. We're not the Egyptians. They're going to be like the people. The other nations are included, but they are supposed to follow commandments as we're reading, if they want to follow the God of the Hebrews. That's what that verse is saying. Verse 22. And the Most High shall smite Egypt, smite that land. He shall smite it, heal it. So he's going to smite it, but he's going to still heal the land. And they shall return even to the Most High, and he shall be entreated of them, and shall heal them. Be a highway out of Egypt. And the Assyrians shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptian into Assyria, shall serve with the Assyrians. So all of these people serving the Most High will be the third with Egypt. Syria, even a blessing in the midst of the land. You see, it's talking about the land. Whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, of hosts shall bless, the Most High will bless the land of Egypt. He's done it. Go, the land will be blessed. And I'll show you the scripture. Whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, blessed be Egypt, my people. It's not saying, blessed be the Egyptians, my people. That's it, when it says Egypt, it's talking about the land, because the people of the Most High, which is as in inheritance, which is Israelites, will be blessed based on them being in Egypt. Whom the Most High of hosts shall bless, saying, blessed be Egypt, my people. That's just a whole sentence. And Assyria. High people too? No. They can sojourn with Israelites. That's what that's. Look, in Israel, Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, mine inheritance. How can the Most High say Egyptians is his people, and then all of a sudden say, no, my blood mother and father. That's, like I said, I want to make sure it's clear. I hope I'm not. This is not too rugged around the edges. What I'm saying is, correctly, you got to understand what was going on in history, because everywhere you see Egypt, pretty much is talking about the land. Whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, blessed be Egypt, my people. Egypt will be blessed because the Most High people is in the land. Years ago, and then you have a remnant that's still in the land of Goshen, which is the Ephraimites, the Puerto Ricans today. They're still in the land of Goshen today. Still there. They're very dark in hue. They look just like the original Ephraimite. What you would call the tribe of Joseph, or the tribe of Ephraim. That's what it's actually saying. In Assyria too. That's why when you look at Assyria today, all the areas where it's a bunch of bombings and this is all the stuff is happening, is actually trying to go at our people, our remnants of our people in Assyria. Assyria. Okay? So that's what's really going on. So I just wanted to bring that out, not to have a long discussion on it, because it's, because what I've noticed is you have a lot of these debaters from the so-called conscience crowd, and I say so-called conscience crowd, try to come against the Bible and the teachers. Isaiah 9 verse 25 talking about, well, if God only got a people, why is these Egyptians his people? And ignorantly not paying attention to the scriptures, not reading it, or grammatically scripture, because of the comprehension, because they don't have the IQ for the Bible. They try to bring that out, an argument, or some type of say that the Bible is, is other things that nature. Nah. When the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, blessed be Egypt, my people. Blessed be the Most High's people in Egypt. And I'll show you the definition. I'll put it up on the screen. Let me put it up on the screen real quick. (1657) Goshen. Even though you will see Egyptian origin, Goshen, the residence of the Israelites in Egypt. Also a place in Palestine. Why does it say also a place in Palestine? Because that's where we went as well. There's an area that links into that place. Because, pretty much that whole Middle Eastern area was ours. but it's taken down by the Gentiles. So that's the definition shit there. See? Of search for Egypt. Right? And of course there's different definitions, but to break that scripture down, to understand what it's saying, never said without heard in a video, the Egyptians are the Most High's people. No. Because I know how we are. We have to read things. Like I said, I like to read stuff over and over. Whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, right? Saying, comma, blessed be Egypt, my people. All it's saying is, blessed be Egypt, my people. Not saying, blessed be Egypt or the Egyptians, my people. Egyptian, that's a person. Egypt is the land that we resided. We was in the land of Egypt, the land of Goshen. There was a place, of course, we just read that there was all kind of plagues going on in Egypt. And hit in the land where we were at in Egypt, like a district or a city. You see what I'm saying? That the Most High protected. So of course it's going to say, blessed be Egypt, my people. The people were in Egypt. Egyptian or Egyptians. Because that's what the brother was saying in this video that I seen. You will see the Egyptians is talking about the people. Verse 23. In that day shall there be a highway out of Egypt, the land. Talking about the land, and it's talking about the people, the Assyrians, to the land, which is Egypt, and the Egyptians. Now it's talking about the people. Now it's talking about the land, and the Egyptians. Now it's talking about the people. Shall serve with the people of Assyria, which is Assyrians. They shall Israel be the third with Egypt. It's talking about the land, and with Assyrians, talking about the land. Even a blessing in the midst of the land amongst these people. But when we are amongst people, they want to follow suit with the God of the Hebrews. So they sojourn with us, and they will start to do sacrifice and things of that nature too. They see us doing it. We're leaders, we're followers. I mean, we're leaders now. We're followers, but we always years ago were trendsetters for the way life was supposed to be from the beginning. Whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, blessed be the land, my people. Blessed be Egypt. Scripture where it says in Deuteronomy 28:68, it's not talking about the land. Let me go there. Let me show you. Let me show you. 28:68, right? The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Is that talking about the land of Egypt? Why would you need a ship to go to Egypt if you're in the land of Jerusalem? There's a crossing called Tibet crossings where you can go right across from Jerusalem into Egypt, or Egypt to Jerusalem. There's a border right there. There's a what you would call how they set up Mexico and all these places, and all that. There's an actual border control there between Egypt and Jerusalem crossings. And the Lord shall bring thee into bondage again. When you look up the word Egypt, it links to the word bondage. So that, what is it? It's been years since I taught this. Exodus, we go into the commandments. The house of bondage. In Exodus chapter 3. Give me a minute here. For a minute here. One minute. I just want to show you the scripture in regards to how you understand it. It's been a minute since I taught this, and I'm going farther than I was supposed to. But we all understand that. I guess you know what? Let me go to the commandments real quick. 1 minute here. 1 minute here. Come on, man. Making the video longer than I should, right? Come on, man. Show is how you have to take scriptures. I was on it, totally off, but yeah, it's in Exodus. You can go to Exodus. You can go to 3. And Moses said unto the people, "Remember this day in which ye came out from Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And the Lord brought you out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten." So this is talking about the feast of unleavened bread. It links into that as well. To the commandments, I was going to go to the commandments. I had so many scriptures in my head to go to, so you go to Exodus chapter 20 verse 2, "And the Lord thy God which had brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage." It's telling you again. There's so many references in scriptures talking about. It's not always talking about the actual people at that particular time. So I just want to bring it out. I know I don't want to overkill. So thank you all for tuning in. Of course, I'll be making more videos when I get the chance. And, you know, to the Most High, standing in the scripture, like I said, it's good for us to read scripture over and over. Sometimes you look at, we've been taught the wrong English for one. Like English, different levels of English classes you take. And the more higher of English classes you take during this time frame, in this generation, it leads you more away from the old Quakers English, High's translation that it gave King James. I know some people may not agree on it, but the King James Version Bible closely correlates with the Hebrew and the Greek. What we're doing is that looking at certain other books and all that, getting confused with this type of English, and they believe, oh, okay, yeah, and the children of Israel went away, and what is it, 19 verse 25. Let me read that again. One minute, I'll make this clear. Yeah, so you read the scripture, it's not going to be clear when you first read it. Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, "Blessed be Egypt, my people." So yeah, you know, Egyptians is his people. Nope. Blessed be the land where the Israelites were. Was saying the land, the work of the hands, and Israel, mine inheritance. So we went to Assyria. We went into the land of the Assyrians, where their land is Assyria, right? That's it. All right. See y'all soon with other videos. This is my life, and I'll be doing this for the rest of it. Shalom.